Welcome back to another episode of Look What Just Found. Now, if you've been following the channel, you know that I got these very special rolls from my local bank. And you can get rolls from your bank too, right? That's the point of the channel. What I've noticed more lately as the channel's become a little bit more popular is that the channel has inspired some people to penny roll hunt, meaning, the way I started off was just um, watching coin roll hunt videos like I'm doing, and then, well, years later, I started to do my own coin roll hunting. I'm making a mess of it over here. I tried to be neat, and I ended up being Jesse messy. All right. So that's pretty cool. And that's really the point of the channel, right? To encourage people um, to do their own, work and research. Now, also, just as a real quick, so this is episode 244. I might have to break this one up into two episodes because these are the all copper penny rolls that I got from my bank. If there's a third episode, it'll be for the ones that I have to do the research on. So what I'll do is I'll show it like I'm doing now, right? Okay. If there's an obvious error, then I will put it to the side for um, possible later review or what have you. The shorts, I do the shorts. This one here is an MS condition, right? MS what? I'm not sure. 62, 3, 4, 5. It's probably better than a 60 or 61. Is it a 67? I don't know. Maybe with a little conservation, it hits 66 or something. It's an incredible. I am gonna put it to the side as the super duper condition pennies. Now, I'm starting to know, right? In copper coins, I'm starting to learn about. So I believe, if I'm correct, he doesn't have any 74s listed. I remember because I looked yesterday for 74s and I found none. But then when I looked for 64s, he has a bunch. And I'm starting to learn where. Oh, look, there's something in the eye. See the eyebrow there? No, it's damage. For a second, it looked like something else. As long as I have it here, I'll check it out. So, all right. So I'll put this. Yeah, that's just damage. So I'll put this one here with the fines. We have our first fine. And 65. So, what a lot of people do, including the guy from Chuck from coppercoins.com, does is he looks at all the coins through the magnifying glass. This one here has a little something. Let me put the light on the 5. See the something? Oh yeah. So what I'll do is I'm not going to do the research live. I'm going to put it to the side and either do it at the end or a separate video or something like that. check out that too at the close-up already. Too far. So I'm starting to learn. I'm starting to get into my rhythm. You know what I'm saying? Because with these older copper pennies, because they're old, many of them have little notches and pieces of damage and stuff. I'll put this one into the AU. Even though it's brown, it's in super duper condition. I'm going to put it into the AU. So we have a fine and we have an AU now on the board. And now we have a BU. And then some of them, if they have no dark spots, I'm putting into another category. Yeah, so I'll put this into the BU. It looks like it might even have a slight die clash there. So what I'm doing is I'm going to look at each one of them under the loop very quickly to see if I see any visible errors, right? So for example, this one I do not, right? And that's our first BU. So we have a BU, an AU, and a fine, and we have this ultra BU here that I just ordered penny tubes. I found a good sale on eBay for 100 penny empty plastic new penny tubes for, I think it came out with tax and shipping. Let me just, am I still in that? No, I'm not in it anymore. Like $30 or $32 or something. So that's what's that come out to for 100 of them? 35 cents a piece, something like that. 10 of them is 3 something, 100 is 30 something dollars. Yeah, so 30 something cents each. Because I'm going to start putting these ultra fine ones separately, right? The ones where the sides even look gold, so that the whole tube, when you're looking at it, is a gold tube, right? So even like some of these that are really nice, the side is a little browner, right? So if you, even though that's a beautiful penny, right? But if you put it next to this one, it's a little browner, right? And if you have a whole tube of these and you start putting in some of those, it'll distract from. Anyway, that's what I'm doing. That's my thing, and that's what I'm doing, right? Because I'm finding some of these really wicked out of sight pennies like this one, and I'm putting them into this BU pile, but BU/MS. But some of these might be like way beyond. Like this one has some scratches on it. I'll put it into the MS. Anyway, that's just my thing, right? So I'm not telling you to. Oh, this one has a nice wire rim too. Has a little bit of a wire rim. So that's pretty nice for a penny in this condition. I'll put that to the side. So we have 4 rows, and I don't want to mix them up. So this is the progression of the channel, right? And of my hobby. This is my hobby, right? This morning I got up, I did my chores, if you want to call it that. You know, and I did it for a few hours. I got up early. I'm an early bird. What's that over there? You see that? Oh, I think it's just gook. I got a wipe here. Let me see if I could take it off. Ah, maybe it's not. Oh, if that's a It's not even like a dye chip. Hold on. Let me check it out. Yeah, let me wipe it with you. There's something right there. Either it's a piece of glue or something, but under closer observation, it looked like it might be a little piece of metal, which unfortunately is not on the nicest looking penny. Yeah, right there. You see it? Sometimes the light hurts. Right there. See, but it's above the level of the field, I believe. Huh. All right, well, I'll put it over here. We'll look at it later. And that's how I keep myself interested in the hobby, right? I start doing different things. Now I got the next penny roll. And like in my mind, I'm doing something constructive. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at the penny through the loop. I'll put this with the fines. In my mind, I'm doing something constructive, you know? What a beauty, huh? You know, one day maybe a penny like this might be worth $1, let's say. You know? And if I fill the tube up with 50 pennies and I get $50, I mean I paid a penny for this, right? So if I can get $1 for it one day, I'm happy. If I put in a roll and I get $50 for it, um, maybe 60, you know, shipping, tax, and all that nonsense, I'll be happy, right? So, you know, if I get $60 and I got 10 of them, I made $600. If I got 100 of them, I made 6 grand. I mean, you know, am I going to get 100 of them? I mean, I'm getting 100 tubes, so you never know. Yeah, that penny's out of sight. Oh, so I started this other row. I'll put it there. Um, so that's what I'm doing with them. The 64, I got to check out the 4. I got to check out the L. Like from looking at copper coins so much, I kind of learned about where the little notches are, right? So I got to look at the L to see if there's any little things underneath it or below it. No. The 4. See if there's anything on the crosslets. And at the tip of the 4, there's a notch. Now, the thing is this, right? And I see there's a spread on the I and N to the south. So I've learned a little bit, right? And when you know what they say, a little bit of knowledge can be dangerous. I'll put this into the MS pile. Has some dark spots. All right, see how flat the rim is? Over there, it's round, I think. I gotta look at it on the loop. Yeah, it's probably a deteriorated rim. So you see, it's starting to flatten it out. The rim is deteriorated, so it's starting to flatten out the rim in certain parts. I'll put that into the AU file. Ah, nice misaligned die. Oh, that's a nice collar error. Misaligned die. That's a nice one. You can see the extra rim coming up on the left. That's what you want. I wonder if the reverse is also misaligned. And not really. That's pretty nice. Especially when the penny's in this kind of condition. The reverse is pretty much fine. So I learned a lot from my members, all my members, I've learned a lot from. Especially Sandra, Shelia, Otis, and Eric. Eric is the one. Well, Otis knows a lot about coppercoins.com also, but like Eric, I believe is the guy who was in charge of Copper Coins. His name is Chuck, as I understand it, and Eric is his buddy, and like he's on his lives and they talk and Discord and all that, and so Eric is really the one who um, guided me towards coppercoinsonline.com. Someone might guide someone towards my channel, right? Like in my channel, someone who never did penny roll hunting, and you're watching my videos, maybe you'll go out and get your first penny roll like some people have done, and you'd be like, oh man, look what Jess found. I started watching his channel, and then I started to penny roll hunt. It was so cool. Jess is such a cool guy. Let me look at this under the loop. You can see where the centering is coming off. Interesting. Very interesting penny. Yeah, it's definitely a centered scent. It's definitely centered. You can see, especially on the reverse, you could really see you can see the copper coming through at the high points. That's one of the signs it's centered. Because the copper, the dark and centered part, from rubbing around on the high points comes off. That's pretty cool. So, another nice misaligned die. I'll put this with the other one. Which one was that one? That was the 72. Oh, they're both 72s. I wonder if they're from the same strike in the same area, pretty much. What a beauty, huh? We got two of them now. And as a result of Eric suggesting me going, I've done quite a few researches through Coppercoin's channel, and as a result, I remember, like on the 64, right? We're looking for the little thing on the L. We're looking for the thing on the cross slit of the 4. Or on the inside of the 4. And any place on the Liberty, if you see that extra little line at the top or the bottom, bar. I said line, I meant bar. And if the spread goes in a different direction other than south, south is seems to be the most common direction of a spread on the motto. I'll put this with the MS. That's really nice. Yeah, maybe, let me see. Maybe BU, maybe the AU. I'll put that with the AUs. So, as I'm learning the errors, right? The little variety errors, right? I mean, a big error, like let's say on this here, right? On this penny, let's say you saw with your naked eye two 1978s, right? So there was two of them on the same. So it was like a double die, right? I don't need to pull a microscope out for it. I got two eyes, I can see it. But there's all these little varieties that several people have dedicated their lives to: copper coins, Wexler, Konica, and a bunch of others. AU. And that's kind of like next level stuff, and it's really not nobody starts off there that I know of, unless maybe if you have someone mentoring you, like your dad or your mom or a family member or a friend, and you start off at that point, then then that's some advanced stuff. You know what I'm saying? Then you just happen to start off there. I didn't. I started off just with a bag of pennies that I got. Not a bag. Were they in rolls? Yeah, they were in rolls. A bunch of rolls of pennies that I got from my son's friend in, I guess, January. I thought it was earlier, but when I looked at the other day, I think it was January. And another nice misaligned die. And as a result, I'll put that with the other two. And as a result, I started, on my own, I started doing penny roll hunting. I bought some unsearched, quote unquote unsearched, that turned out to be searched. It was BS from eBay. And with the help of, this one has a doubling on the U. Let me check out the 4 real close. I don't see anything on the date about Liberty. I don't see anything in Liberty. It's really just the U. And maybe it's more of a notching, to be honest with you. I'll see if I can zoom in on it a little bit. Maybe upside down. Sometimes if you get the light from a different angle. Yeah, so, if I saw it in more places, I would have been more inclined to thinking it was doubling. It's the only place I see it, though, is the U. I'm going to put it to the side, and we'll look at it later, because I hate to discard it and put it into a roll, because once I do that, it's a wrap. And what I've realized is that for a majority of these very weak doubling, right, the varieties, as I'm calling them, is another rim error. It's also misaligned die. You can see it's thinner here than it is over here. And check out that date. If there's any values, they're pretty low, generally speaking. So if you miss them, and then of course you have to find a buyer, right? So if it's very weak and there's a million of them out there, the chances are you can't even sell it for a few bucks. You know what I'm saying? Now that's not to discourage anybody. It's just the facts. That's all. So it's something. It might be worth $2 or $3, but you can't get someone to give you $2 or $3. So in a sense, it really becomes worthless in a sense. Like this one, I'm not. Has a little wire rim, but I'm not even too crazy about the condition. It's in, you know, It's in fine condition, so I'll put it with the fines. All right. We're just about hitting a half hour. Maybe I'll do one more, and then we'll do, because I can't do these 1 hour videos. So I'll do a little wrap up after this. And then I'll do a part 2, which will be episode 245. And that's one of the, again, it's not an issue. It's just, it is what it is. That is, it takes time to go through these older copper coins. Yeah, I'll put that. Wow, that's a wicked penny, man. How clean is it? And it's got some marks on the surface. Field. I'll put it into the MS pile. All right, so these are the ones we'll go over next. We barely got through half of the roll. You know what I'm saying? So everything is copper. As you can see, these are the ones we found. I put them into those separate piles, and I'll do the same with this in part 2, episode 245. And in my opinion, I'm still moving kind of fast, even though I only got through half the roll. Because you could really put all of these pennies under a microscope, and that would take hours. Depending on how much time you spent on each penny. If you're just going like this with them, maybe you get through it in an hour. But we're doing the phone, and I'm doing the commentary and all of that. So look at some of these. Those are 3 that we found, 3 of the nicest ones. All right. So without further ado, let me stop this one, and let me go to part 2, and then we'll try to hopefully wrap this up. And then we only found 2 to research. We're going to do some research on that one. And we're going to do some research on this one. So that might be a part 3. I don't know. It depends. Like I said, with these all copper rolls, it takes a lot of time. All right. I'll see you in the next episode. God bless.